how's things going?
Yeah, good. Lots of happening in the world of AI, so keeping me on my toes.
And how are your workshops on AI going? You've been traveling a lot.
They have been going really good. Lots of good feedback. Most of them are 10 on 10 scores. People are very interested in learning about AI, and this is a trend which is not going to stop anytime soon because there's so much stuff happening with not only the software, but also the hardware stuff as well. People don't realize that the hardware plays a very important role. The GPUs, LPUs, but obviously it's many layers down, so people don't dive deep enough. But this world is going to change the way we know it, and we're lucky to be alive in this time to see the innovation happening, unfolding as we
Yeah,
progress day on day, month on month.
yeah. Now, it's interesting that you say people are obsessed because we're actually discussing something today which is kind of like an anti-AI social platform. But, it's innovation nonetheless. So we're exploring the rapid rise of Cara. And it's a platform founded by a photographer. And in just a week, its user base has soared from 40,000 to 650,000 people because artists are flocking to the platform to escape AI exploitation by big tech companies like Meta. So the whole kind of draw card of Cara is that it's a safe place for artists to share their work without fear of unauthorized AI use. And it's leveraging collaborations with projects like the University of Chicago's Glaze for added protection. So out of AI is arising more technology that's anti-AI. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll start by saying that it's very normal that when things launch or start, there's a minority, or in this case, I can't place how many people or what percentage of people, but there will be people who be against the idea of what was normal. And such a revolution it's not the first one that's ever happened. It's been happening in history it's been there for centuries, and it has been there for when there's a new revolution happening, there's somebody else revolting against the revolution. And this time we have the AI revolution, and it's threatening because obviously Meta, which is earlier called Facebook, when we sign up to Facebook or Meta or WhatsApp or Instagram, we give away our rights to that material we are uploading, and that data can be used for training purposes. That's what exactly has happened. It was many artists who have their content on Instagram. That content got used to train the models, and people are upset about it. They wanted to be informed first, and if they said yes, it's okay, then they go and do it. But typically, it's the opposite. If you don't say no, and before you couldn't even say no, now you can opt out of it, and that takes time. Your data has been used to train the next model, and that means that you haven't been attributed or compensated for the time you put into the artwork, which is a shame. But that's just the way this world works. It's a free tool. You give away your data, your content, your hard work in return for using a free tool. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. But Cara is a sort of a revolution. It is saying, that's not okay. We'll build something which will allow us to go against Meta and have a tool which we can't train on the content which we use to upload. The reality is that it works really well, but it only works really well if you have the numbers, if you have the scale, because you want the art to be seen. You want the art to be consumed by people. And at the moment, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X or Twitter has numbers. So would you not put your data there because you need people to appreciate your art and buy your art, your survive and sustain your life. So it's
Yeah.
a chicken egg situation, very interesting, and I think it's something to look out for. I hope to survive, basically.
Yeah. Now, the catapult in users on Cara. I mean, we'll see over the next couple of weeks how much further it grows. But pending, let's make a prediction that, more and more artists join Cara and stop posting their art on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Will that impact the way that these large scale platforms approach this kind of thing? I mean, there are already cases where you automatically are opted out and you have to physically opt in instead of the other way around, for certain marketing campaigns and that kind of thing. Will we see these big technology companies changing their opt-in, opt-out options in order to retain audience share?
What I would say is when we sign up to an account with Meta, we are already opting in. So we have already opted in at the beginning. And the only logical thing to actually do is opt out. But perhaps they can make it more explicit that you need to opt out now if your art or your content or your creation should not be used for training their AI models. This might happen in the future. The option is already available. It's not only available in Meta, but also in OpenAI, ChatGPT as well. You can now switch it on for any type of user, not only the enterprise and teams, which was the two options. Now you can do that on a normal ChatGPT account as well, which is a progress in the right direction, in my opinion. Saying that, the genie's out of the bottle. People's data has been used already to train things, and they have been used to build art. So we can't undo that, for instance. That's once it's gone into the AI, it can't be taken out. The new stuff can be, and there are some new tools available now to protect your art to some extent. And let's be clear, there is no foolproof way to protect your art if it's on the internet. It will be stolen one way or the other, especially by actors. They can still use it to create models to use your data. But at least we're thinking about it, we're talking about these things, and that's a good bit of progress in the space of creativity and art.
Yeah. Now, the founder of Cara has been fighting against companies for using artists' work without their permission to train AI models, as we've already discussed. How important do you think these specific legal battles are for protecting artists' rights in the future? Do you think it's going to have an impact? I mean, it's kind of like a David versus Goliath kind of story. And while everyone knows the outcome of David versus Goliath, it doesn't always work out like that in real life. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it is helping because, and this is why tools or companies like OpenAI are buying data from legit sources. They are doing deals with News Corp, with Reddit, with Stack Overflow, for example, only because they want to make sure that their source of data is legit. And the companies which are not doing this ethically will be challenged. They will be back to the courtrooms. There will be settlement will happen, and that will lead to a more balanced and fair approach to data usage. So it's actually I believe it will work. We will see some interesting lawsuits in the future. Equally, people will learn to behave themselves and be more ethical about data collection. So all in all, it actually is helping, and I think also technology is coming out as well. It's very useful. Technology should protect your art, and also there might be tools in the future which will make you aware of sites which are stealing your style, your content, your art, your video, your music away. So I think there's a interesting movement. It's still early days for AI, and in the early days, no one really cares. You just break things and you say sorry. That's the approach for most tech companies. But at some point, that will be costly, and people want to protect themselves. And OpenAI is doing a good job at already thinking about to protect its back.
Yeah. So let's talk about the technology. Could you maybe explain how this sort of protection works and how effective it is? Because, I mean, we saw, for example, Adobe, if you didn't want your Word document to be amended, you saved it in Adobe, or you created a PDF. And you can also do that where it's an image, a PDF image, where you can't even copy paste the text out of it. That's now already been kind of undone, because you can just load that up onto OpenAI and say extract the text. And so, for whatever development happens, there's somebody that's going to find a way around it. So could you maybe just explain how this is stopping AI from copying artists' work without permission?
Absolutely. So in the last few months, there has been a program or project by University of Chicago, which is looking at a thing called Glaze. Glaze is a tool or a software which adds a bit of noise to the images, which can't be detected by human beings. So if you and I see it, we can't tell it's there. But it confuses the AI a lot while training. And that's really interesting, because if the tool like Glaze is manipulating the AI, it won't be trained properly. I've seen examples where experiments have been done to falsely categorize or create sections inside images to classify it incorrectly. For example, in a dog's image, you put in noise, and you also put in elements of cat as well, which we can't see, but the AI can. And eventually, after 300 images been put in, the AI got the image of a dog and cat confused. So that level of manipulation is also possible. That's obviously not to say that that's going to happen with tools like ChatGPT or OpenAI, because firstly, they have big models. When they buy or train data, they actually buy the content. Most of they create some content of their own, but they also use publicly available data as well. What's interesting here is that it's using the same features of categorizing images and text and videos now in the reverse way, to add a bit of manipulation and noise to effectively confuse the neural network, which is working against the AI itself, which is really interesting. Now, it's not possible for all images. There's some images will do a better job at. For example, if there's a high contrast image, we'll do a better job at that. If the image is a high resolution image, for example, or for example, if it's a minimalistic image, then there's no big opportunity to actually add that noise or randomness to it. So it works in few cases, but doesn't work for all cases. And also, there are always ways around things, right? So it'll do a good job at a particular use case. It'll do a very good job in particular images or style of images, but it won't be uniformly great for all kinds of images. And that's the problem with this. Saying that, it is a great step in the right direction to protect people's images. Saying that, if you take the image, you buy the image from the artist and you hang it in an exhibition, the picture of that image, then that still is available to the internet to go and train on that image itself. So again, this is not foolproof, but it does help. And I feel like this is a great bit of watermarking for your images, and maybe in the future can be applied to videos as well. You do the same activity frame by frame on every effectively image which becomes a video. So yeah, maybe in the future we might even have video glazing as well. By the way, the word glazing reminds me of donuts. I don't know why. Whenever I hear glazing, I'm like, glazed? Is that donuts? But yeah, but that aside, it is something that's very interesting. I think it certainly is a great technology for us to like lean into.
Yeah. Now, Cara has already faced some challenges. They've had an unexpected bill for web hosting. You know, these things, when they're kind of founder-owned and established, and they grow really quickly, things tend to not kind of follow the usual business or startup process, and especially with the explosion of people using it. So, do you think relying on volunteers and not seeking venture capital is a good strategy for handling this growth and future challenge at the moment? Or are they going to eventually have to go the corporate route?
Well, here's my prediction that what's going to happen in the future. There will be some investor coming in to their slot to put some money in because and they won't even care about returns on the investment because they care about all, So
Yeah.
yes, you need fuel to actually to get the car working. You can't just drive the car on just pushing the car. You need the fuel, and in this case, the fuel is the cash you need to burn to power servers, to have people in the team who can then moderate, for example, or have curation, for example, or new features. What is it on their own in the tech world, which is a costly world to be part of, is challenging to say the least. But saying that, I'm very confident there'll be people reaching out at the moment because this was Cara plus Glaze project together is a very interesting direction for proprietary art. We don't want it to be corrupted by or used for training AI. And there will be is definitely a use case for this sort of thing. And I'm confident that in the next few months, we'll hear some news about someone investing huge sum of money into it. And maybe it's also like in a very open AI way, where it's a charity or a not-for-profit organization and is done for betterment of humanity or protecting art. Equally,
Yeah.
there might be a case where there might be a business around this, and then there would be investment into the company. But at the moment, AI is hot. I can tell you from my own experience running an AI software company, we get approached by investors left, right, and center. So if we are getting that, I'm sure anybody who's in the news with AI will get exactly the same treatment, ton of interest, ton of knowledge, and money thrown at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So if there are any artists and creatives listening, have you experienced issues with your work being used in this way? And what features or protections would make you feel more comfortable sharing your work on a platform like Cara? How important is it for you to have control over your work, and how it's used to train AI? So pop us some comments in the comments section. Pop us a DM. We'd love to hear from you. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, thanks again, Raj, for walking us through that. And exciting time to be alive. I'm interested to see how this all pans out.
Likewise, completely agree with you. I think what's lucky for us is that it's all happening in front of our eyes. We've gone from faxes or telex to where we are today with AI, and more to be seen in the coming years. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very excited to actually do what we do, I guess.
yeah, fantastic. Cool. We're going to leave it there for today. And then we'll see you around in the next episode.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Megan.